Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Above It All show. Starring Max the dog. Everybody, Max the dog. Today, for doing a show. Max, is that an eggplant? Give me that. Give me this. He's not letting me do it. Oh boy. So welcome everybody to the Above It All program. I'm here to do a show. And today is Tuesday. Tuesday. Everybody, I'd like to say that I will not be doing a show tomorrow. Tomorrow I will not be doing a show. As a standard, on Wednesday, ending tomorrow, I will be changing my off and on scheduling over the next 30 days. Because I'm going to start an experiment where I'm going to try what's called alternate day fasting. And alternate day fasting is where you eat every other day. So you fast for 36 hours, eat for 12 hours, and then rinse repeat. So it essentially boils down to you eat every other day. And based on that, I am going to slightly change my off days. So I might be taking a Thursday off instead 1 week, that kind of stuff. Because on my off days, I like to do a lot of drugs and relax. So I want to make sure that those are on days where I'm eating because, I eat my drugs. So, once again, Thursday, this Thursday will be the first fast day. If anyone wants to join in on that, you can feel free to do so. So skip breakfast and dinner and lunch on Thursday. And or don't. I don't know where you're at in your life. I don't know if fasting is a good thing for you to do in your life right now. I'm just giving it a shot for self-experimentation. It's possible I will, get sick of it or get all fucked up in 3 weeks instead of a month, whatever. So we'll see. But it's supposed to be really good to maximize autophagy in short periods of time and that kind of other stuff. So I'll go more into that over the next couple of weeks as I go into this experiment. But if anyone wants to join me, feel free. But again, I don't want any motherfuckers out there like hurting themselves and then blaming me. I'm not into that shit. So if you hurt yourself, one, it's your fault. And two, if you feel sick, not everyone can do fasting, right? If you're diabetic, if you're elderly, like 70, 80 years old, maybe fasting is not the best thing for you, right? But so for the younger people in my audience, I'd say maybe 20 to 45 age range, no major, health issues that you can think of, consider giving it a shot. At least consider doing one 36-hour fast. Just give it a shot, see where you feel on that, or don't, whatever, and let's say you're fasting and you say, well, I hit 18 hours and I can't take it anymore. That's fine, whatever. But that's going to be what I'm going to do over the next month. I'm going to, it's possible I'll give up. So, but as a result, I will be changing my off day scheduling a little bit to reflect, you know, because I want to take an off day on a day where I'm eating food so that I can eat my drugs and relax. So, you know, next week I might take off Thursday, or like, and again, I also like to take off Saturday, so that might turn into a Friday, might turn into a Sunday. Depends on what I'm doing. But there you go. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, and, so there you go. It also forces your body to store more calories because it's expecting not to receive food regularly. Yeah, I don't really know about that. I also don't know what you're talking about. But, there you go. I was diagnosed with liver toxicity. Oh no. Detox my liver if I don't eat and drink lots of water. I would say cut out all forms of fructose. I would say minimize all forms of sucrose. And don't consume alcohol. That would be my diagnosis, but I'm not a doctor. You know, that would be my prescription, I should say. But I'm not a doctor, so feel free to continue eating candy and drinking vodka. I mean, if you want, I don't know, do whatever you want. That's what I would do in that scenario. Got myself a seltzer here. So, there you go. How do you sleep after an off day? I lay in bed and close my eyes. So, that would be a method of how I sleep. I mean, you could sleep on the floor. I've slept on couches before, but typically I lay somewhere as comfortable as I can, and I close my eyes, and then eventually I fall asleep. There you go. So we got a show going on today. I'm going to be talking about a couple things today. Some things. Going to be talking about some stuff, some trending news. Oh. And there you go. So I don't know where to start. Let's start here. Donald Trump, loser of the 2020 election. Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election. Donald Trump is the loser. He did not win. Donald Trump lost. Joe Biden won because he's the winner. The 2020 election was not fraudulent. Donald Trump lost. Joe Biden won. So hopefully that's good. And YouTube doesn't hate me for that. But Donald Trump has been campaigning, and he's been saying some crazy ass shit in regards to January 6th. So check this out. Trump claims violence he inspired on Jan 6th was Pence's fault. So a couple days ago, Michael Pence came out and said that history will hold Donald Trump accountable. You know, that's stupid ass garbage. History is not holding anybody accountable. And also, being held accountable doesn't even really mean anything. The phrase is just vapid garbage. It has no definition. People just say it just to say it. It doesn't mean anything. So not only does holding someone to account mean nothing, but the idea that history is going to do that somehow, let's be honest, that is not real. But Donald Trump apparently responded, and wow. So let's read. Donald Trump on Monday sharply rebuked Mike Pence's assertion that history will hold him accountable for January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, telling reporters that his former vice president should shoulder the blame for the violent riot that day by Trump supporters. What's notably absent from this Washington Post article here is the word insurrection. At least it's not in the opening paragraph. I'd like to Control F. Insurrection. Insurrection is not found anywhere in this article, so Little interesting. I don't know why the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, would be caping for Donald Trump in the fashion of downplaying what happened on January 6, 2021. It was an insurrection. A riot is a word that you could call it a riot and an insurrection, but a riot can also not be an insurrection. The really problematic aspect of January 6th was not really a riot, right? It's bad, but the insurrectionary aspect is the more dangerous part of it. So again, it being a riot, I mean, people do riots over the Super Bowl, right? People do riots over the World Cup, right? A riot is, they're not mutually exclusive. You can riot in an insurrectionary way, but what's more important on January 6, 2021 is that it was an insurrection. So again, I don't know why mainstream media is afraid of that word, but I'm not. So Donald Trump, Mike Pence engaged in an insurrection. Plain as. That simple. Quote, this is Donald Trump, "Had he sent the votes back to the legislatures, they wouldn't have had a problem with Jan 6. So in many ways, you can blame him for Jan 6. Now again, of course, that's not a thing. You can't just wave your magic wand and say, let the states vote again. It's not a thing, okay? Donald Trump might as well have said, and Mike Pence could have got up there and opened a bag of Oreos and just decided to eat them and would have said in the congressional record, that Oreos should be the next president. Like, that's not a thing. You can't do that. It's made up, right? Like, it's obviously, we know that. I have to say that, though, just so people understand what's happening. The former president said, referring to Pence's refusal, do Oreos come in bags, by the way? I'm not actually sure. Referring to Pence's refusal to reject the Electoral College, blah, blah, blah. Had he sent them back to Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, the states, I believe, number one, you would have had a different outcome. Well, yeah, like, if you did something differently, you would have had a different outcome. True, right? Like, if I scratch this side of my face, it's a different outcome than if I scratch this side of my face. Yeah, it's yes, that is a correct assessment of the situation. I also believe you wouldn't have had Jan 6, as we call it. I mean, okay, so let's hypothetically, Mike Pence sends it back to the states. Obviously, that's not a thing. It doesn't happen, right? So, you think that the Trumpers would have, instead of Jan 6, it would have been like just Jan 20 or something, right? Like, just at the next opportunity, right? The Trumpers would have fucking tried to do an insurrection when their fucking meme shit failed, right? Like, they were threatening an insurrection on the Electoral College meeting. I think that's like late December, like I want to say December 20 or something, maybe. They were threatening to do an insurrection there, and then they're like, no, let's do it on January 6th instead, right? So, like, it's just kicking the can down the road. So, yeah, we wouldn't have had a Jan 6, we would have a Jan 20, right? Or 19, whatever it would have been. That's what we would have had. December 14th, according to Tyler in the chat, is when the Electoral College meets. But again, I just think that this whole situation, again, Donald Trump is not actually eligible to run for office. He's actually banned from holding federal office. It's just that we live in a country where we have an attorney general who's a pussy-ass bitch. Merrick Garland is a beta male, pussy-ass bitch, and he's afraid of reading the Constitution, right? So imagine... right, I am Merrick Garland, okay? And this piece of blank paper is the Constitution, right? Like, imagine, right, like, I just, like, look at... I can't look at this! No. Like, that's Merrick Garland when it comes to the Constitution. Max is very concerned. He's afraid of the Constitution because he's a pussy-ass bitch. Why he's the Attorney General? Probably because Biden is a dumb fuck, right? Biden is just a really unintelligent person. If I were to guess Joe Biden's IQ, it's probably 40, maybe 50 on a good day. And that's maybe not counting the fact that he's not all there anymore when it comes to dementia, right? So again, Merrick Garland's not even a real, like, what even is he? Is he a law professor? No, he doesn't know anything about the law. Is he a lawyer? No, he doesn't know anything about the law. Is he like a judge? Well, he was trying to be, but good thing he's not because he doesn't know anything about the law. Why is he attorney general? You know, it's like, it would be like picking some random person off the sidewalk and saying that they get to be the head of Health and Human Services, right? Like, it's just, what? Like it would be like if I signed up to lead the next expedition to Mars. Like, I don't know how to do that, right? Like, it's like if I said, hey, you know, I'm going on a flight. Hey, pilot, you know, just take a break. You know, settle down for a bit. I got this. And then I head into the cockpit and fly the plane. I don't know how to fly a plane. Therefore, I should not be in that position. Somehow, Merrick Garland has fallen upwards, you know, into the Attorney Generalship. I don't know how that's even possible. He doesn't know anything about the Constitution. I mean, let's be honest. I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of people, they roll their eyes at this shit, right, because they've been propagandized. But again, we have a Constitution. Whether or not you like it, I certainly don't like it, right, is irrelevant. The Constitution clearly states if you engage in an insurrection or give aid or comfort to those engaging in an insurrection, you're banned from holding federal office. So whether or not Merrick Garland's, like, level of pussiness is not really that relevant at all to the text of the Constitution. Like, Merrick Garland having, like, you know, been diagnosed with low testosterone or whatever it is that's going on is not relevant to the text in the Constitution. I don't care what Merrick Garland's opinion is. I don't care what Congress's opinion is. The Constitution exists. It says if you engage in an insurrection, you're banned. Full stop. I don't give a fuck, okay? But whatever, you know. We don't live in a country of law and order. We live in a country of fucking soap opera, drama, reality TV show, right? So again, on that note, I would like to say I am going to be running for president as a 26-year-old. I'll be 27 soon. I'll be 28 by the time of the election. You might be thinking, what? But the Constitution says you need to be 35. Exactly. Well, as we've clearly demonstrated, and I'm willing to go to court. You know, if anyone wants to represent me, anybody, if I have lawyers in my audience, if anyone wants to represent me in a court case, I'm willing to go to court. If the Constitution doesn't apply to the orange man, why does it apply to me? When you think about it, I've done a lot of psychedelic drugs. I'm being honest with you. So mentally speaking, I'm way older than 35. I'm like at least 89 years old when it comes to my mental state. Why? Because I do mushrooms all the time. So, with that being said, let's get back into this article. A pro-Trump mob, blah, blah, blah. Trump was responding to Pence's remarks on Saturday, where he said unequivocally that Trump had been wrong to demand him. I'm glad Mike Pence has finally come out to say that Donald Trump is wrong. You know, he could have said that the day of. He could have said that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I'm glad, you know, a couple years later, he said, bad. Well, that's, you know, pretty strong words. And then we got this white tie diner. What the fuck is a white tie? I don't even know what that means. But anyway, I mean, it's just, again, why is this news? I don't know. I don't know why this is news. I don't know why we had, like, Donald Trump is literally banned from federal office. He is banned from running for any position in the United States. He couldn't run to be in a municipality. He could not run to be on a school board. He couldn't run for any office in any state in the United States. And yet we're all pretending like he's allowed. You know, why? I don't know. For clicks, for ad revenue, whatever. We live in a shitty ass fucking goddamn world, and we live in a country that is just falling apart at the seams. We don't have a constitution anymore. And again, this whole back and forth thing is just, I don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say. It's just lame. It's dumb. It means nothing, right? Oh, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Meanwhile, all the other architects of the insurrection, Steve Bannon, right? Mo Brooks, remember that guy, right? You know, all these kind of guys, they're still walking around not in jail. And again, what does this all boil down to? Merrick Garland is a fucking pussy. Full stop. That's it. Nancy Pelosi is a demented freak. Full stop. Cori Bush, Congresswoman from Missouri, I believe, brought forth a resolution to literally just read the 14th Amendment live in Congress. Nancy Pelosi personally stepped in to make sure that no one knows about the 14th Amendment. I believe that there were like 60 or 70 Democrats, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that said, hey, 14th Amendment Section 3, these guys are banned. They're gone. Like, they're gone. If they would have actually enforced the Constitution, at least 30 or 40 Republican senators would have been instantly gone. Now, again, they would have just been appointed by the governors, so it, wouldn't reshape the balance of power too much. But hey, you would have had at least 150, closer to 200, but, there's a couple people that were on the line. Members of the House that would have been banned. They would have lost. They would have been out of Congress. They would have been in jail, and they would have been banned from holding office. Now, again, when someone is removed or leaves or resigns or dies in the House, you have to wait until there's a special election, right? So in an alternate world where Democrats actually gave a fuck about anybody, they would have invoked the 14th Amendment, Section 3. They would have banned the Republican Party. They would have just banned the Republican Party. That's really what they need to do. But, again, that's not really within the scope of the 14th Amendment. But literally, a plain-face reading of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, would have said that at least 150 Republicans in the House are banned, right? Which would mean Democrats go from like a majority, very slight majority, to a super duper fucking majority. They could have passed Medicare for all that shit. Obviously, you know why they didn't go with that route. But I'm willing to suggest, right, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, says if you engage in an insurrection or give aid or comfort to those engaging in an insurrection, I would define aid and comfort, right? I would say Donald Trump is feeling pretty comfortable not being in a jail cell, right? I would say that Nancy Pelosi should be banned from federal office because she gave aid and comfort to someone that engaged in an insurrection. She protected Donald Trump from the power of the 14th Amendment. So now again, that is open to interpretation. What's not open to interpretation is the fact that Donald Trump and a supermajority of the Republican Party should be banned from holding any office. That is, again, not open for interpretation. Anyone who's honestly reading the Constitution would agree with me. But I'm willing to say, on a personal note, my interpretation of 14th Amendment Section 3 would furthermore ban people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, who again gave aid and comfort to those engaging in an insurrection in the form of not holding them accountable for that insurrection. I would say again, Donald Trump is pretty comfortable running for president right now, even though he engaged in an insurrection and is technically banned from office, right? So again, actions have consequences. That's my opinion. Nancy Pelosi should be in jail for the same reason Donald Trump is. But, again, that's my opinion. But what's not my opinion, what is in the realm of fact, not my opinion, not anyone's interpretation, in the realm of fact says that if you engage in an insurrection, you're banned from office. Donald Trump legally, constitutionally, cannot run for president. And so, again, if the Constitution doesn't apply to him, how come the 35-year age requirement applies to me? I disagree. So again, on that note, I'm announcing I'm going to run for president. If there are lawyers in my audience, anyone that wants to represent me in any fashion, to join my campaign, send me a message. And you might think I'm joking, but I'm partially joking. But in all seriousness, if there is a lawyer in my audience, I'm totally down to go into a court case or whatever, just to make this point, just, as a message, right? I'm totally down to petition a judge or a court for this. I'm absolutely, someone help me out if you want to. But either way, this primary, if you could call it a primary, is heating up, ? But not really. Because Mike Pence is he's got the power level of a wet sponge that's been sitting on the windowsill for fucking 3 days, and you forgot to wring out all the water, and now it's getting moldy and stinky. Ugh, you ever do that? You ever make that mistake? I've done it a couple times. Haven't made the mistake ever since I figured out what that smell was coming from. But anyway, Donald Trump is obviously going to eviscerate these people. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, they had the power to prevent this exact scenario where Trump runs again. They refused to do it. They dropped the ball. As far as I'm concerned, that's giving aid and comfort. So fuck them all straight to hell. But either way, there you go. Once again, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Donald Trump lost. He lost the 2020 election. And he's a loser. Donald Trump is a loser. Joe Biden won. So there you go. All right, folks, it's official. Andrew Kohler is going to be my legal representation for my bid for the White House in the upcoming election. So, Andrew Kohler, reach out to me. I'm not joking. I'm kind of joking a little bit, but there you go. Like, what do I need to do to like apply to run for president? I don't even know. I guess I'll find out. We'll find out, and I'll let everybody know about that. Little seltzer burps there. Little burpity seltz. I'll support the campaign. Hell yeah. Everyone is now campaign staff with a salary of $0. Why? Well, I think on ethics, on morals and principles, I think it's unethical to accept a salary for doing what's right. Right? So I would like to announce, do free work for me and be happy about getting not any money for it because, hey, when you think about it, it's just greed. Don't you want to be a good communist? So again, free labor on my behalf, and you get nothing in return. Oh my God. We got a lot of work to do. Google how to run for president. Okay. But anyway, we got some more news here, and when I say we, of course, I mean not you, because you're just fucking watching a fucking YouTube video. But you know, whatever. I don't even know what kind of question that means. Like, gamer man, like what are you asking? Like, no, I'm actually I'm going by Princess Overlord of all of humanity, actually, if you wouldn't mind referring to me in that way. Like, what does that mean? Am I still going by, and what does that mean? No, actually, I'd prefer to be called Empress of the Universe, if you don't mind. Oh my God. Alright, so, we got some more news here. A lot of people have asked me to cover what is being referred to in multiple instances as a bank run, bank collapse. People are using the word bailout to describe what's going on with the Silicon Valley Bank and some other banks that have not, been doing so well in the context. And people have asked me to inform why this stuff is happening to all the uneducated viewers out there. I'm going to tell you why that's happening. And, but first, let's get a recap what happened. So Silicon Valley Bank is, they fucked up. They didn't have enough cash on hand, blah, blah, blah. Interest rates, they fucked them over. Risky investments, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They're gonzo. Okay, they're done. The FDIC, for whatever reason, is uncapping the regular $250,000 FDIC insurance. They're uncapping it. So they said that they're going to make every depositor whole, even if they had more than $250,000. I think that's strange because that's illegal. Technically, the law says $250,000 is the cap. If you're going to give them more without passing a new law, I don't know, man, that's a little weird, but hey, whatever. Everyone's calling it a bailout because that's what it is. It's a bailout. So if that triggers you for whatever reason, okay. But people have, they've been researching into how did these banks collapse? What happened? Let's roll back the clock a week ago. Like, did anyone know this was happening a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, etc.? Well, some members of Congress and some members of state houses, state senators, and all that stuff, some people that are not even really politicians, but, in the political sphere, they figured it out. They have identified the core principal reason why there's this ongoing economic crisis. And again, who knows what the echoes of this will be? Who knows if this will affect other banks or other institutions? Another fun fact is that Bitcoin is up 15% today. So if you had Bitcoin, you're making money from this. So hey, just throwing that out there. I had Bitcoin. I sold my Bitcoin this morning. So that being said, why are these banks collapsing? What happened? What led to this moment? Well, I've got the answer. Amid bank collapse, Kansas, Missouri senators criticize Biden for rescuing woke banks. That's right. For those of you that don't know what a woke bank is, let's read this article. Amid the largest bank collapse in 15 years, Republican U.S. senators for Kansas and Missouri rebuked the Biden administration on Monday for protecting depositors at the failed Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Republican Senators Josh Hawley, Eric Schmidt, and Roger Marshall portrayed SVB with its tech-heavy customer base as a woke bank. The bank is woke. A criticism that appeared intended to funnel the crisis into a culture war context and sidestep calls for tighter regulation from Democrats. So, again, I'm just being honest with you. The idea that cryptocurrency-based banking, which is Signature Bank, they do a lot of stuff with cryptocurrency, and Silicon Valley Bank, which is heavily involved in the tech sector, the idea that those two groups are now woke, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'm just saying, that's hilarious. Like, if you were to describe to me, like, the least woke community online, I would have to say the cryptocurrency community. I would have to say the tech community. They are very anti-woke. But now they're waking up to find out that they have been woke the whole time. So if you are a tech bro, if you're a crypto bro, again, you are now finding out you're woken up, and now you found out you've been woke for God knows how long. And let's keep reading. Even as the lawmakers signaled they would oppose any bailout of banks, several regional banks came under strain Monday. Kansas City-based UMB Financial Corp's stock stumbled, but the bank said it was on solid footing. Congress also faced scrutiny for scaling back financial regulations on mid-sized and community banks in 2018 under former President Donald Trump. The rollback affected standards that were put in place in 2009 following the financial crisis that spurred the Great Recession. So basically what happened was, overnight, what was previously qualified as a big bank is now a mom and pop shop. Overnight, the bank is actually growing because we live in a growth-based economy. So they're getting more and more money. They're making more and more risky investments. They're making more and more deposits and all that stuff, loans and all that. So they're getting bigger. Just snap of the fingers, they go from a big bank to a mom and pop shop, according to United States regulations that were redone under the Donald Trump administration. Of course, a bunch of Democrats got in on that. Why? Because we have the filibuster. Remember the 60-vote threshold? So Democrats actually broke through the filibuster to make sure Donald Trump was able to reclassify big banks as mom and pop banks. Pretty cool. I love that shit. It's super fun when that happens. President Joe Biden on Monday said his administration would look into why the banks failed and pin the blame on the 2018 rollback of regulations. Now, what's also interesting is that, of course, Joe Biden is a failure and a loser and fucking sucks as a president. Why didn't Joe Biden and the Democratic caucus, when they had a trifecta, what is a trifecta? They had control of the House of Representatives, control of the U.S. Senate, and control of the White House, right? They don't anymore, right? But when they did, why didn't they do anything about it? Why? Because they don't actually give a fuck, right? So when Joe Biden goes up there and says, we're going to look into why this is happening, no, they're not going to look into why this is happening. They're not going to solve any of the problems, and they're just going to hope that you forget by election time and then just pretend like they solved all the problems that they themselves created. So that's what we're dealing with here. Quote, unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements. Biden said, I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks. Again, if he actually cared, he would have done it a year ago, a year and a half ago. He would have done it 2 years ago. But instead, he was too busy, I don't know, going to cocktail bars with Joe Manchin or whatever the fuck they were doing, right? Some dumbass fucking shit. But anyway, you can read the rest of this. If you want. Actually, I do want to read this because I want to see what more about the woke stuff. Hawley said he plans to propose a bill that would prevent banks from passing those fees on to customers and would prevent small banks from having to pay the fees at all. So these SVB guys spend all their time funding woke garbage. Now, what is woke garbage? Well, woke garbage is literally any tech company. Any tech company is woke garbage. Right? Climate change solutions is woke, I guess, rather than actual banking. Now, what would be actual banking? Right, I'm just curious. What is actual banking? I don't know. He doesn't really go into that. Quote, this is from some other person. I don't actually care about this. Anyway, so there you go. There's your primer, I guess. Essentially, bullet points. The government rolled back regulations that were already too lenient. They overnight reclassified big banks as mom and pop shops, right? I love the law. I love legalese. Then one of these mom and pop banks, super small time bank, mom and pop shop, basically they got fucked, right? And you can blame the government. The government's been fucking around with interest rates. You can blame inflation. You can blame whatever you want. I say all of the above. The bank was too risky, and they did not diversify their assets enough. 2, they should have had more cash on hand given the industry. 3, the government kind of did fuck them over with the interest rate bullshit, but hey, again, it is your job to see that kind of stuff coming and act accordingly. And that's pretty much it. Then it collapsed. Now Joe Biden is basically saying that there is going to be no bailout, even though a bailout was already announced. They already announced the bailout while Joe Biden is going around saying there's no bailout. I don't really know what that is. And now Republicans are calling it woke. Now, one of the things that is not written here for why that they're calling Silicon Valley Bank woke is because there is someone on the board, whatever board there is, I didn't look into it too much, that happens to be a lesbian. So they actually allowed a gay woman to work at the bank, and therefore it's woke. That was what I believe the origin of these conspiracies are. I think Donald Trump Jr. was tweeting about how there was a gay woman on the staff of the bank, and therefore if she's gay, the whole bank is woke, that kind of stuff. I didn't really look into that too much because, it's a waste of my time to look into it. But there you go. That's what we're dealing with here. And it's just another day in shithole USA where a bunch of dumb motherfuckers talk about stupid ass shit and no one actually cares about what's really going on, because why bother fixing problems when you can just look at everything and say woke, 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 woke. Whatever. Dumbass shit, but there you go. This is a good point. In the chat, I'm seeing some really good advice. Everyone should subscribe to my Doom channel. Let me sell this to you. Let me sell you on a dream here. All right, hear me out. My goal with the Doom channel, and Doom in general, it's my favorite game, is I want to be the best. Right? I want to be the best. And I'm not talking about like some Pokemon introductory sequence, which, we could all use a little bit of more, make your wake up alarm the Pokemon intro theme. Just throwing that out there. But I'm wanting to be the best. That's my goal. I want to be number 1. And you can feel free to join me on that quest if you'd like. You can feel free to support me even if you know nothing about the game or whatever. But my goal is to be number 1. How is number 1 calculated? I don't care about that. I just want to be number one. I want to be number one in every category. I want to be number one in every metric, every statistic. That's my goal. I don't know how long it's going to take. Might take another year. Might take another 2 years. Might take 6 months. I don't really know. It's kind of a moving target. I'm enjoying it. Feel free to follow along. Or don't. Whatever. Just subscribe to the channel. That's all I care about. Feel free to unring the bell. In fact, feel free to take a lesson out of the Liberty Bell, right? And just like break that shit, you know, with the crack, you know, is anyone just break the bell? I don't give a fuck. I don't even know why the bell exists. Like doesn't the bell just send push notifications to your phone? Why would anyone click that on anything? You ever see these fucking YouTubers that are like, ring the bell? Why would anyone want to ring the bell? Like, I know people feel the need to say that, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, you know what I mean? Don't ring the bell on any channel. I'm telling you this right now. Just have like a bookmark for your sub feed. Have a bookmark for your whatever channels you like. Fuck that bell. I don't want to like open my phone in the morning and see, oh wow, there's 98 new uploads. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, that's a sidebar. But subscribe to my other channel. I'm trying to be number one, and you know, there you go. So. 88% of the wine industry. As we know, the wine industry, mega woke. Mega woke? Yeah, I don't know why anyone would have like push notifications on their phone for YouTube uploads. Like, to me, that's like the dumbest shit in the world. Like, the only thing I need push notifications for on my phone is like if someone texts me or calls me. That's it, right? I don't need fucking push notifications for shitfuck number 78 uploaded 8 new videos while I was sleeping. Oh, great. You know, like, that's why I have a fucking subscriber feed. But hey, fuck the bell. There you go. But with that all being said, ring the bell. Oh, man. The Last of Us is proof of Hollywood's hatred for Christians, yo. I wish. Right? Today is Tuesday. I'm doing a show today, everybody. I'd like to say this once again. I said this at the top of the show, but there's more people here, so I'm going to give an abridged version. And I do still have more news, so just, settle down. I'm just, gotta do a slow drip, right? Tomorrow is Wednesday. I don't stream on Wednesdays. At least that was my schedule. I'm going to be changing my schedule a little bit, because I personally am embarking on a project, an experiment, which is I want to do 30 days of alternate day fasting. Alternate day fasting is you basically only eat every other day. So Monday you eat, Tuesday you don't eat anything, black coffee, water, that's it. Wednesday you eat, right? But if it's every 2 days, what that's going to do is it's going to mean that my off day, which I want to synchronize with days that I'm eating, because when I take off from my show, I like to eat things known as drugs, right? Fungus, plant matter, all that kind of good stuff, right? So I want to make sure that my off days are synchronized with days where I'm not supposed to be fasting. So what that means is my off day might change from like Wednesday to Thursday, or Wednesday to Tuesday, whatever I decide, or from Saturday to Friday, or whatever, right? So for the next, and it's also possible I'll give up, right? And then I'll go back to the Wednesday schedule after that as well. But either way, if you want to join me with that, feel free. My first fasting day will be Thursday, which I will be streaming on Thursday. That will be the first day that I skip a meal. And there you go. So I'll announce what the off days will be ahead of time. So as long as you watch the show daily, you'll be informed of when not to show up. But there you go. And if anyone wants to join me, that would be cool to have some solidarity. Or not. I mean, you could also not join me if you don't want to. I got like a bunch of knots in my hair right now that I gotta fucking deal with. Gotta deal with this goddamn bullshit. Anyway, so let's get into some news here. This is a news program, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, also you can feel free to just do one 36-hour fast. You know, you don't have to do 15 36-hour fasts like I'm planning on doing. You can just do one, or you can just do a 24-hour, right? Dinner time to dinner time, right? You know, just give it a shoot. But anyway, before I get into this article, I want this to be at the very top of this video, right? I want people that watch this video, this segment, whatever, to know my biases before we get into the subject matter. So what is the subject matter? Vermont school that boycotted game with trans player banned from tournament. So what do I think about this? What are my opinions? First of all, it's a Christian school. I say this. There should be no such thing as Christian schools. You want to talk about grooming? I think telling children that are very impressionable and that don't really even know what Santa Claus is, that Jesus is watching them, and that if they masturbate, they're going to go to hell forever, and that if they're gay, they're going to go to hell forever. I think that's grooming. I also think it's genuinely evil to convince children that if they make a mistake that they're going to go to hell forever, or they have to worship some fucking guy on a painting. That is evil. That is evil. And I'm going to say this. I genuinely believe, and this is with all, I'm not joking when I say this. I genuinely believe that if you are religious and you teach a child to also be religious, that should be a crime. That's my opinion. Now, you might say that that's extreme. I agree. It is extreme. I'm kind of an extreme person. I think if you want to allow religion to exist, which I'm open to, I don't necessarily want to ban religion, but if you want to allow a religion to exist, you cannot groom children into believing in whatever you believe. I believe that we need to have a mandatory secular society. If a child is 18 years old and they look into the religion, you know, they should be free to pick them. Let's say a child is born in a Christian family, you know, and they're 18 and they study about all the religions, and let's say they choose Islam. It's in their right. Let's say they choose Judaism. It's in their right. They can choose whatever religion they want. That's fine with me. I don't mind. But teaching children to be religious when they are young, impressionable, and gullible, I think personally should be a crime. I think that should be a crime. I consider that to be child abuse. That's part one of this story. Okay, part two. If a school decides that they don't want to partake in a sport because someone at a different school happens to be transgender, right? Fuck them. Fuck that school. Now, I say that school should be shut down. That's my opinion. Maybe the school should be shut down. If they're using their platform as a school to engage in bigotry, they should be shut down. That's my opinion. But either way, those are my biases. Let's check this article out, get some details here. A Vermont school that refused to play against an opposing basketball team with a trans player won't be able to participate in future tournaments. The Vermont Principals Association announced on Monday. Mid-Vermont Christian School forfeited a game on 21 February in an out-of-state tournament against Long Trail School. Quote, "We withdrew from the tournament because we believe playing blah, blah, blah." I'm not going to read that garbage. The Vermont Principals Association, an organization that sponsors various school sport activities, ruled that the MCVS had violated its policies and will be ineligible to participate in future tournaments. Now again, my opinion, the school should be shut down. There should be no such thing as a Christian school. I believe that is a crime against humanity. If I were president and I had a magic wand, I would ban all forms of religious schooling. I would ban Sunday school. I would say, if you're not allowed to, I would say this, you need to be over the age, let's say 16. You know, let's be a little fair, okay? But I personally say 18. If you're under the age of 18, you should not be allowed to walk into a church, temple, mosque, any of it. You should not be allowed to enter if you are under the age of 18. Why? It's indoctrination. That's my opinion. Fuck them, right? And again, if somebody does not support trans rights, they also should not be allowed to have any position of power, right? Again, would you want a racist to be in charge of whether or not black people are taught fairly and equally in school? No. In the same way that you would not want a transphobic person to be in charge of who and who is not allowed to play, again, school sports. We're not talking about professional sports, motherfucker. And even in that case, I don't give a fuck about your conspiratorial garbage either. But we're talking about children playing sports for fun. They're playing sports for fun. They're having a fun time enjoying sports. Who the fuck gives a fuck if one player in the whole state, Vermont has like -6 people in it to begin with, one player, right, in the whole state is trans, and therefore you're gonna fucking whip up a stink? I say this, consider, with all due respect, which again, due respect in this instance means I have no respect for you, but consider maybe possibly to go fuck yourself if you believe that trans people should be banned from sports. Kids, we're not, again, even if you're talking about professional sports, you're still wrong and you're still stupid. That said, we're talking about children playing motherfucking sports, dude. It's kids. Let kids be kids, right? Let kids bounce their balls around and fucking shoot balls into hoops or kick them into goals or hit the fucking, you have kickball, whatever the fuck, okay? Let them enjoy themselves. This idea of trying to torture a student because they're transgender and weaponizing your power as being a part of a scholastic institution to torture a child for no other reason than they are transgender, and then by proxy torturing every other student on that team or every other student at that school. That's ridiculous. And I say this, go fuck yourself. Okay, so with all that being said, let's continue. The VPA again reiterates its ongoing support of transgender student athletes as not only a part of building an inclusive community for each student to grow and thrive, but also as a clear expectation by Vermont state laws and the Agency of Education best practices and the VPA policy regarding transgender student athletes, the association said in a statement. That's basically just fancy legalese talk for, how about suck my dick, bitch, we're letting the kid play basketball. Again, we're talking about school sports here. We're talking about children having fun playing sports. Why the fuck do you need to bring your religious conspiracy theories into children playing fucking kickball? Now again, basketball, whatever the fuck. I don't care. All sports are the same to me. You have a ball, you play with it in some way, you throw it either with your foot, your hand, whatever. You're having a ball and it goes somewhere else and people pass the ball to each other. It's all the same, okay? I know that's going to trigger people too, but hey. The idea that religious conspiracy theories should be respected when it comes to children playing sports, to me, is a crime against humanity, right? People that go out of their way to weaponize their religion, to gain power and influence in social groups, and then use that power and influence to, again, further weaponize their religion against kids who are just trying to play kickball. Again, if I was in charge of the world, they would be in jail. That's my opinion. But again, I'm not in charge of the world. But thankfully, the Vermont Principal Association is making the right choice on this. But anyway, you can read the rest of this if you'd like. I just want to, this is going to be one of those things that's going to jump into the culture war, everybody. And again, it's just a bunch of bogus fucking nonsense. And it saddens me to see that this is the world that we live in, where religious nut jobs, total fucking freaks, are weaponizing their long debunked conspiracy theories to torture children. That's fucked up. I say this, if anything is grooming, if we're going to have a national discourse around grooming, what is the largest institution that has groomed anybody? It's the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the largest institution of groomers in the world, right? So I say, if we're going to talk about grooming, if we're going to talk about mistreating children in some fashion, maybe this Christian school, so-called, should be where we turn our attention to. So there you go. But that's the last news item for today. So there you go. We got some gamers in the chat. Hello, gamers. Now, I will say this one. Tetrasan, welcome to the show. I do have a Doom channel, which you may enjoy more than my political and news channel. I also have a cooking show, but I haven't done that in a while. I dispute the claim that Zero Master is the best speedrunner. I dispute that claim. I like Zero Master. They're a fine chap, right? I don't know if it's possible to quantify or qualify who the best speedrunner is when people play all kinds of different categories, right? Zero Master may be the best player at Doom 2, right? But not everyone plays Doom 2. Some people play Doom 1. Some people play Final Doom, right? So I wouldn't say that. Though I am saying that my goal is to become the best Doom speedrunner. I've been speedrunning Doom for about 10 years. If you look at DS Darchive, which is the home for Doom speedrunning, you'll see I'm ranked pretty highly on the Doom statistics page. So with that being said, I say anyone in the top 15, I say this, we're all equally as good. That's my opinion. So I would say Zero Master is not better than Looper, and Shock Blast is not better than me. We're all equally good. That's my opinion. That said, I want to be the best. So I'm gonna break that mold. But that's just, my own personal quest. But, it's good to see you here. I post Doom speedruns on my other channel pretty much every day because I'm kind of low-key. I'm addicted, and I'm autistic, so I get extremely obsessed with my special interests, and right now it's Doom. So feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to get monetized on this channel. For those of you that don't know, YouTube runs ads on your videos all the time, no matter what. But when you're not monetized, they take 100% of your ad money. When you are monetized, they take 30%. So help me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs on here. As of today, I'm at 500. So I made it halfway there. We are 50% to YouTube not stealing my money. So if anyone wants to help out with me reclaiming what is rightfully mine, that would be cool. Also, adjacent, I also make levels. So if you like Doom, play my levels. They're really good too. But that's pretty much the news show for today. That's all the news. Again, on this channel for the next 32 days, I'm going to be talking a lot about alternate day fasting. Again, for those of you that are new here, because we do have some new viewers here, one of the big things I talk about is food, nutrition, health. I'm one of those people. I'm a health nut. I love health, and I want to make sure that people watching me are healthy. I want to have all my viewers prosper, and I want to teach people what I was never taught in school and I had to read about myself. But again, I'm going to do a self-experiment. You can either join with me, join for a fraction of the time, try it once. I'm going to be doing alternate day fasting for a month, 30 days. So that's 15 days no eating, 15 days eating, and then it's every other day. So Monday, I eat from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday, I don't eat anything the whole day. Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., etc. So that's going to be, I'm going to be talking about that a lot. I'm going to tell you my results. I'm going to tell you what foods I'm eating during my on days. and to see if that's something that you'd be interested in. So feel free to join me or not, or feel free to join me for one day or some days, or feel free to join me once a week, whatever you want to do. That would be cool. But either way, a month from now, I'm going to be hopefully telling you the results. And it's possible the results are going to be, it was just like a bunch of pointless garbage and I feel and look exactly the same a month from now. It's also possible I'll lose 10 pounds. It's possible I'll lose 20 pounds. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll let everyone know. Because one thing I like doing on my show is I don't want to recommend anything to people without trying it myself. Right? So when it comes to health, when it comes to what foods to eat, I want to do massive self-experimentation before I start advocating for others to do it. And so this is going to be another thing I'm going to take upon myself. So there you go. But we're going to be entering the next portion of the program, QCOC. Whoa, right? QCOC. Questions, comments, or concerns? Post your Qs. And don't forget, post your cocks. Questions, comments, or concerns. So, also, I'm going to be streaming some Doom speedruns on Twitch later today. I might be playing Icarus today. So if anyone knows about Icarus, 1996 Megawatt, made by the same people that made TNT Evolution. So I'm going to be playing some Icarus, possibly some Demon Fear. So follow me on Twitch. Any chance of a spreadsheet? Yes, there's a very high chance of a spreadsheet. Just go to google.com, type in Google Sheets, and it will take you to that. What do you mean, any chance of a spreadsheet? I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what you're asking. My first fasting day will be Thursday. So tomorrow I'm taking off. When I take off, I like to eat a bunch of drugs, including, but not limited to, fungi, herbs, and spices. I love drugs, and I love consuming them. Natural ones only, right? Natural drugs. I'm not advocating. That's just my personal religious belief, is that when I take an off day. So, again, for the next couple weeks, I'm going to be synchronizing my eating days with my, spiritual journeys. I might take off Thursday, might be Friday, depends on when it is. So, Abovers want to make a spreadsheet to help track. I want to try. Well, you don't really. I have a calendar printout. So this is what I'm doing. Is I have these like calendar printouts. And I'm basically going to color code the days where I'm eating and not eating. But tomorrow I'll be eating, right? Because it's my off day. I'll be back Thursday, starting the fast on Thursday. So Thursday, no eating. That would mean Saturday, no eating. And it's just every other day. It's easy to keep track of. You're a big fan of marijuana and meth? I've never tried meth. But, I like marijuana. I like mushrooms. That's my jam, yo. But I've never tried meth. So I'm not sure if I'm too interested in that. I like coffee. As far as stimulants go, take some coffee. But we're very drug positive here. Again, I don't want to endorse or encourage drug use by anybody, but I also don't discourage it either. I think that the way our culture treats people who use drugs is a little silly, especially when, again, sugar is the most dangerous drug in our country. Again, the average American child eats 81 grams of added sugar per day. 20% of American children have early stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 1 in 5 kids, their liver is entering the stages of failure, right? That's why we're seeing childhood diabetes rates. So again, someone wants to talk about, drugs are bad, okay? I say this, when's the last time you had a can of Coca-Cola? That's more of a drug than marijuana is by a long shot. So that's my opinion on that one. Um, yes, the only thing on a fast day is black coffee and water. That's it. You don't add anything to the coffee. If you add milk, it's not a fast. Now, this has been in hot contention for those of you. I actually looked this up recently. I'm just curious, what's allowed on a fast, what's not allowed to get the maximum benefits. For those of you where this would apply, here's some advice. I have found out that, let's assume you're a sexual person, right? Let's assume you're a sexual person. I imagine a lot of my viewers are sexual people. There's a big debate when it comes in the fasting community. Is swallowing cum okay on a fast? This is a question. I'm trying to figure this out myself personally. I want to know this. I have come to the conclusion that you probably shouldn't be swallowing cum when you're on a fast. Again, if the point of a fast is you're trying to have, again, maximum benefits. What are the benefits? Autophagy, so on and so forth, right? Right. You don't want to be breaking the fast with cum, just throwing that out there. So any sexual people, try to spit it out on your fast days. That's some other advice. Again, to the coffee drinkers, black coffee only, everybody. Black coffee only, okay? Just throwing that one out there. A common trap for a lot of people. They forget about the cum and they forget about the coffee additives. So again, water, black coffee only. There might be some other things that I haven't looked into that are okay on a fast. But for me, it's just going to be water and black coffee. So the pink packet, I don't. If you're talking about artificial sweeteners, I don't know about brain damage per se, but artificial sweeteners are not, no. I'm gonna say this: if you're doing a fast, no diet sodas, no stevia, no aspartame, none of that. No diet sweeteners on a fast. Why? When you consume a diet sweetener, it kickstarts your pancreas, insulin production. And when you have a diet sweetener, it makes you hungry. Why? Because insulin is running throughout your body going, where's the fucking sugar, bro? There's supposed to be sugar here. I was told there was sugar here. There's no sugar. It's going to make you hungrier if you're consuming diet sweeteners on a fast. So I say this. I don't know this. On the science, I'm not sure if they actually break the fast. I think that they slow down and mitigate the effects of a fast, for sure. That's scientifically proven. Whether or not it makes you go back to the 0 point, I don't know about that. But what I can say is diet sweeteners, what they're going to do is they're going to make it harder to actually perform the fast. You're going to be hungrier as you're fasting, and the psychological turmoil, you don't want to stress yourself, right? If you're fasting for health benefits and you're fasting and you're stressed out while you're fasting, you're going to be basically countering whatever health benefits you're going to get from the fast with the damage that cortisol is going to do on you. So again, I would avoid diet sweeteners when you're fasting. Now again, if you're just trying to cut back on sugar intake and you switch out soda for diet soda and your diet and you're not doing fast or anything, like that's going to be, I think, better overall. But for a fast, you definitely don't want to be doing diet sweeteners. So, there you go. Yeah, I don't know about tea. I'm not a tea person. As you know, I'm American, so we don't drink tea over here. I'm a coffee person. And I'm almost out of coffee here, so you can see that. In fact, I'm gonna go for the last bit. All right. But if anyone has any Q's or cocks, feel free to let me know. Questions, comments, or concerns. I like when people ask me things, especially when they're in my realm of expertise or relative expertise. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I just read a lot of books. My fasting for dietary reasons. My reasons for engaging in this project is, one, I've never done it before. The longest I've ever fasted was, as a kid, I was very poor as a kid, so I fasted for multiple days just because we were too poor to afford food. So as a kid, I engaged in, week-long fasts just because we were poor. But as an adult, the longest I've done a fast, has been, I believe, 3 days. I did a 72-hour fast. That was really rough. I've done multiple dozens of 48-hour fasts over the last couple of years. 24-hour fasts I do at least once a month, just on accident sometimes. I just skip breakfast just because I want to play video games or something. Yeah, I've fasted before, but I've never done an alternate day fast for a long period of time. So this is a new project for me of doing a 36-12 regimen for 30 days, which is 15 cycles. But yeah, I don't know about tea. I'm not a tea person. Maybe I'll look into it. What am I reading currently? The current book that I'm reading is called The Myth of Normal, and it's pretty good. I recommend it. I'm about, I don't know, like a third of the way through. Yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me that tea is good. I've tried tea, like black tea. I don't know anything about tea. I'm going to be honest with you. I am illiterate on tea, but I've tried black tea. To me, it's like coffee, but way worse in every way. It tastes awful. And it has like, I don't know, I think it has more caffeine. Someone said that black tea has more caffeine than coffee. To me, that's a bad thing, because then I would be inclined to drink less of it overall. So, Fun fact, tea bags were invented by accident. A tea seller was giving out samples and people brewed it wrong. That's actually pretty funny. We got Letter J Hack, who has entered the broadcast. Everybody, I should do this. If you are somebody who thinks that I'm an interesting person, Letter Hack interviewed me. I had the pleasure of going on Letter Hack's stream program, and we did an in-depth interview. So if anyone wants to see content about me, we did, a little bit of biographical. We did a little bit talking about some philosophical stuff. Definitely go subscribe to the Letter Hack and specifically watch my appearance on there. Many people have told me it's the best interview they've ever seen by anybody. They've told me that. And I'm not saying that, but many people are saying it. So go check that out. What's my campaign slogan? My campaign slogan is to be continued. I'll think of it later. You can't just think of a campaign slogan just at the drop of a hat. You gotta put some thought into it. Emphasis on thought. But also again, I will be streaming on Twitch probably within 30 minutes to an hour. I'm just going to post my news clips onto YouTube. So if anyone wants to carry this party into the next phase, join me over on twitch.tv. I'm not going to lie to everybody, and this may come as a surprise, but bear with me. I got to pee real bad. So this show is going to be over probably in the next 90 seconds from this point. And so again, come hang out in the Doom stream. I'll be there probably by noon. It's 11:20 for me right now. So probably by the end of this hour, just got to post these news clips and I'll be over there. And once again, the urination station is open for business, and I'm going to be a contributing patron to the urination station. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all either in 40 minutes or in 2 days, depending on whether or not you want to watch my Twitch stream or not. So, thank you all. Have a great one, and and that's it. I got nothing else. I'm done. I'm out of ideas. There's no more. It's over. Just go home. Go get out of here.